Good evening. Good evening. How are you guys doing tonight? You are live with your host, Tanisha Marie. This is Simply Complicated Chats. And tonight we have a very important topic to discuss. Um, I know I come on here every week and I'm always talking about something different. I talk about everything literally because nothing is off limits to me. So tonight is going to be about mental health and the motivation you have to keep going when you're always the strong person. Like, how do you keep going as a strong person? You know, they always say that they should check on the strong friend, but not many people really call in or send a text or even just randomly stop by to check on the strong friend. And I am always the strong friend. Okay. Like, I had to get to a point moving out of state where I literally had to pull myself back from a lot of people that I was constantly encountering back home. And with that, it brought a lot of attention to me about me, if that makes sense. I learned a lot about myself when I had to go into isolation and I was alone and just by myself and really couldn't turn to anybody but God or my kids because they were next in line for being the biggest supporters that I had, right? Um, so today's topic is really going to focus on the intersection of mental health and productivity and endurance. How do you keep going when you feel the suffering in your brain? Because I know that is a big thing for me. These last couple of weeks, I have really been in a mode. And I really think it's more so of this karmic cycle breaking for me that I've really been in a deep resting mode. Like, it's not even depression, and I've suffered with depression for a while. Hi Amanda, how are you? Yes, come in with your pen and paper. Come in with questions, anything. If you have something on your mind, bring it to the table. Um, so lately I've been figuring out, like, on those days that I am just lounging around and I don't want to do anything because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I have 5 kids, but only 3 of them are living with me now. So it's just me and my sons. And baby, when I tell you boys are the clingiest, they are. Please believe me when I say it because my sons don't leave my side. They hate going to school in reality. Like, if they didn't have to go, they would not go. They would stay at home with mom all day and do whatever it is that she wants to do. Okay. They love me that much. So being a stay-at-home mom, when I get them up and ready for school, like, my day starts at that point in time. These last couple of weeks, I've been crawling my ass right back into bed. Like, right back. As soon as I get them out the door on the bus, I walk the dogs, I bring my ass right back in the house, crawl back in my bed under the blanket. Okay. And I found myself sleeping till like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, which is not normal for me. It's not normal at all because I am a early bird. Yes. I have twins too, Amanda. I have a set of twin boys, and then my youngest is literally 18 months younger than them. So it's like having a set of triplets. Okay, so imagine. I tell everybody, I say, this is my granddaddy, my daddy, and my boyfriend. Don't mind them. They are all very protective of me. Okay, they love me to death. They will go to war about anything with anybody when it comes to mom. So I'm finding that on this journey, yes, hey, on this journey of life and protecting my mental in order to arrive as my best self every day, I literally have to create a routine. And it's not even a major routine. It's just like incorporating small things into my daily routine that'll help me get back on track when I feel like I'm going off the road. Okay. Um, I have been a free spirit all my life. Honestly, I can say I don't hate structure. I hate being the one that has to create it. I'll say that. If somebody else could structure my life based off of what I'm telling them and how I need it to go, um, and they can put a plan together, I will follow it to a T. I will follow it. But me being the person that has to create the structure in my life, not my best work. And I can't even say not my best work because it has to be done. So therefore, I am the one doing it. But it's not top pick for me. Like, this is not what I wake up every morning wanting to do because I'm a free spirit. I love to just go with the flow. But being an adult, I'm understanding that that is not healthy. It's not. Unfortunately, it's not. And I hate it. Um, because it causes me now to go into a spiral. And it's a spiral that I'm not happy about when it's transpiring. But it's also a spiral now that I am more aware of, and I can catch like when I get there in order to spin it back around, if you get what I mean. Because I'm at a point where it's just like I know I'm aware of the cycles that I've repeated and the lessons in life that I repeated. So when I get to that point where I feel depression creeping up on me because I've been dealing with that since I was like 13, 12. Um, and I've kind of masked it for the last 8 or 9 years, I would say. I've kind of tucked it away. Having sons kind of made my vulnerability a little different. When it was just the girls, I lived in my emotions, okay? Because I never wanted them to not express themselves. They were girls. They had the right to cry. They had the right to be emotional. So I was a walking billboard for them. I lived in my emotions, but I had no control over them. That was my downfall. I had no control over them. So I had to gain control over my emotions. So when I had sons, I think my way of gaining control over my emotions was to cut them completely. Like, not even cut them, but I toughened up a lot to the point where I didn't cry for years. And that's not me. Knowing me, baby, I'm crying. The Notebook is one of my favorite movies. I cried watching The Notebook. If you ever seen Cadillac Records, one of my favorite movies. I cried at the end when he died leaving the fucking recording studio. Okay? That is me. I can cry at the drop of a fucking dime. I can just let my emotions flow. At least I used to be able to. But even around the time that I had my sons while I got pregnant with them, my oldest daughter's dad had just passed away. So I was in a tight spot of going from I cried the day I found out he passed. I might have cried a little bit the day of the funeral. Out of the fact that it was reality that we just laid this man in the ground and he's never coming back from this. But after putting him in the ground, I did not cry again until a month before I had the twins. So that would have been December. So probably right around the holidays, and that was, well, probably in between the holidays. I was in a tight spot then. Like, at that point, I forced myself to sit and realize everything that I was going through. So I had no choice but to force those tears or allow those tears to come out because I really had numbed myself. And I numbed myself because of my pregnancy. Like, at that point, I was already considered high risk. I have to have C-sections. None of my kids wants to come out the vagina. Woohoo me, okay? Because my girl's still intact. But being high risk, carrying twins, I was only 23 and I had already been through 2 pregnancies prior to. So my body was going through a lot. Mentally, I had to shut down on the emotional side because I couldn't afford my emotions to cause anything traumatic for this pregnancy. I was already really going through it by myself outside of my family because my mom was there. But other than that, like, I was doing a lot alone. And the emotional part of that, I could not handle. I knew I couldn't handle. And I pushed that shit to the back of the bus. Okay. It had to go all the way to the back of the bus, the last seat. God damn it, hold the exit door. Okay. Because if we crash this motherfucker, you need to be the first one out the back so everybody else can follow. That's how I felt about my emotions. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's how I felt. And with that, numbing out for that amount of time became normal. And if you're a crier and you go from crying about everything to like everything hurts your feelings and you're crying about it to never crying about anything, only when you're like about to explode, heated, not a good thing. So many times I could have crashed out. So many times I could have crashed out. So many times I could have taken myself out. So many times I could have taken those around me out. Okay. Like, if we're really being honest, it was a lot of built up tension within me. And I just kept going. I was like the Energizer fucking bunny. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I just kept going, kept going, kept going. And anything that was coming my way, I was just piling that shit on. Just throw it in the pile. And then I'm dragging this shit right along with me. And these last couple of years, I finally realized, like, hey, we can release this shit because it's not helping us at all. Like, it was never helping us, if we're really being honest. We really just tucked away shit because we didn't want to deal with it. And some shit we end up, honestly, it's probably in that goddamn pile 2 to 3 times because it spent the block so many times. I just kept throwing the shit in there. I never faced it. I just kept getting rid of it or kept pushing it to the side just because it's just like, you know what? I don't have time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the patience. I don't. I have to be a mom. I got to stay focused because if I lose it, the whole ship crashes. Like, any real parent knows that if you're the only parent, there is no giving up. Unfortunately, it's very seldom that we can take a break to go get help. And it's crazy because right before my daughter's father passed away, he was killed in December of 2015. August of 2015, me and my youngest daughter's father had just moved into an apartment together. And we were going through our own thing, but it was me, him, both of the girls. At the time, I was going to school full time as a college student. I was working at my college in the computer lab part time, and I was working a full time goddamn psych job, behavioral health, and was stripping. Literally 3 jobs in school and a full time parent. And I was still trying to be somebody's girlfriend. And when I tell you our relationship was high on the rocks, high on the rocks. It was so much tension in that house. It got to a point where we made sure that we didn't even see each other in passing. Like, if we did, it was only because we had to leave the kids with one another. If the kids weren't leaving the house and he had to come in and watch the kids for me to go to work, or he was coming in to go to sleep and I was going to work and the kids, literally, that would be the only time that we seen each other. Other than that, it was like a rotating door of me and the girls being at home and him being at work, and that was just it. Like, everything was so hectic during that time. So eventually we got to a boiling point with each other, and that shit just started exploding. Okay, everything was just going left. I think I had a car emergency and I was going to be short on a bill that we had to pay or something. So I asked him initially to cover it. And the man spazzed. Like, he didn't want to cover it. He really thought I was trying to bullshit him to save money. But I'm like, dude, I spend the most fucking time here. So why wouldn't I pay my bills technically? You literally come for a split second, maybe to get clothes because his mom stayed down the street. So he really was spending more time at her house than he was at home. So it's like, at this point, you're just here to help me pay bills. So if I'm paying the bills anyway, and I'm the one living here, why wouldn't I just cover the bill? I'll give you the money back. But that another discussion, because when men got their own shit going on, they'll do anything to make your life hell. Because at the time, I was unaware that he was sleeping with my best friend. Okay. So the way shit just be playing out in my life, it's amazingly crazy. But, you know, it all makes for a fun story. So dealing with all of that, um, the apartment was in his name. So that's key fact here. I just want you guys to hear that. The apartment was in his name. When he got fed up, he figured that he was going to put me out. You're going to put me out with 2 kids. Belongs to you. At least one does, but you've raised them both. But belongs to you. And you know we have nowhere else to go. Didn't sound right to me, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't sound right to any of you guys either. So me being the mother that I am, fuck no. It's not happening. The kids' names are on this lease also, so guess who will be staying? They will. You want me to go? By all means, I'll leave. But guess who's in charge now? You. So you get to figure out parenting. You get to figure out daycare. You get to figure out school and all of that. You get to figure that out, since you don't want us to live together in order to make sure the kids are straight. Yeah. And with that, because I knew I had nowhere to go, and it was just so much going on at that time, like I was just so frustrated, and I contemplated suicide for days. For days. Like I ended up sleeping in my car for a couple nights, and then one morning I got up and I called my cousin, and I'm just like, I need you to take me to the hospital. She's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm just like, I'm suicidal. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm suicidal. And I know that this is not what I want to do, because I never want to take myself away from my kids. And I thank God every day that I didn't, because that same year my oldest daughter lost her father, and that was something we had no control over. Now imagine how selfish that would have been of me to early on in the same year take myself away from both of my kids, and not even know later on in that same year that my daughter's father was going to be killed. So had I really been selfish at that point in time, my daughter would have lost both of her parents in 1 year, 4 months apart, literally, because that was in August that I did all of that, September sometime. So 3-4 months. That would have been a tragic life story for a 5-year-old. Her mother commits suicide, and then her father's killed months later. Like, what? So it's just like, now with going through life and understanding God and his purpose and the things that he requires of us in order to sanely survive, I've become so much better when it comes to my mental health. I'm able to grab a hold of everything before it just spirals out of control. So I love that for me now, because it allows me to really pay attention to myself and understand who I am and what I've been through, and really learning to give myself grace, because that's not something that I've always been capable of doing. I feel like so many people have always pressured me to be so much and to do so much, that it was just like I kind of lost sight of what I wanted. Like I had my mom's brother, my uncle, my favorite uncle at that. He used to tell me all the time, like, oh, I had dreams of you growing up and going to law school, because you love to argue. That mouth on you was just something. Yeah. Look at the family that I grew up in. Y'all couldn't have thought that this mouth wasn't gonna be a firecracker. Like what? But I had to literally, when he said that to me, I think it clicked in my mind, like, you had dreams of something for me, something that I dreamed of myself, but it was never seen as obtainable because of the people that raised me, the environment that I grew up in. Like, it was so much toxicity. And even watching my mom struggle to put herself through nursing school and raise kids, it was just like, nobody ever made college like a big thing for us. My mama was the first one to go to college out of cousins and aunts and uncles, she was one of the first ones to get a college degree. So, you know, that was big, that was major, but it was never something that was placed in front of me and my siblings and my younger cousins as like, oh, a token of something that we must do. Although it was put out there. Go to school, get a good job, you know, get a degree, get a career. But it was never presented like that was an obtainable thing, because it was just so much trauma in between everything. So I think mainly just the whole thought of going to college and finishing. I used to sit here and I really still to this day when I ask him, who was paying for law school? Had I not had kids, who was paying for law school? Because now that I have children, I can file financial aid on my own. Who was going to pay for law school? Who was going to be the encouraging? Who was going to be the support for law school? Crazy thing is, I was supposed to start law school last spring. I was supposed to start. It's up in the air for 2026. So if y'all see me studying my ass off somewhere, mind your business, you know, sit down, help a girl out with some flashcards or something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so law school is still on the table pretty much because I am very passionate about it. Along with psychology, because again, that is something I'm very passionate about. And I just know that I can't give up on my dreams that I have for myself. Even at this age, I'll be 32 in 2 months. This December. Yeah, I'll be 32 in 2 months. So right now I'm at a stage where it's just like, I'm really trying to show my kids that no matter the adversity that you face, that your dreams are still obtainable. Whatever you want is still obtainable. You can still go after it. You can still get it. You just have to mentally program yourself to understand that life is going to happen. Pain is going to come. Hurt is going to come. Bad things are going to transpire. Like, you can't have the good without the bad, because there will be nothing to stack on top of if we didn't have the bad. We got to trash the bad shit and step on it and bury it in order to have a platform to get where we're going. And the good shit that comes out of that is better than the shit that we lose, better than the shit that's hurt us. Like, just having that clear understanding of life allows you to really hold on to never giving up. Like, until God calls me home, I ain't checking out, because he decided he wanted to wake me up today. So that means he had purpose for me. So that means he had something that he needed me to get done today. He needed me to talk to a person today. It was somebody that I needed to encounter that was contemplating taking their life. And now because I sat here and seen them walking down the street, and a simple, hey, how you doing? Hey, nice smile, nice haircut, anything. You never know what other people are going through. So to have that mentality of never knowing what the next person is going through, so you treat everybody with love and respect and kindness, that is the biggest thing that I hold on to. That's the biggest thing that I teach my kids. Even like now, my youngest daughter, she's back in Chicago, and I'm constantly telling her, like, Zion, these Chicago kids are not Arizona kids. Like, you're getting up in age now where when you were growing up with the Chicago kids, you didn't realize how flawed they were because all y'all were children. So all y'all were pretty much just learning and, you know, peeping things. Now you're a preteen. Now you're seeing people for who they are and how they present themselves. And she's just like, Mom, these kids are so different and they're just so mean and so ignorant. I said, yeah, it's a difference. Chicago people we are raised very differently. And some of us don't have parents who have sense. So the ones that don't have parents that don't have sense, that have parents that don't have sense, I'm sorry to say, but they're a little more ratchet than we are. Like, we got it, you know, we're perfect balance of ratchet and classy. I'll throw that out there. We are fake bougie, because we were raised in the suburbs. My kids were born and raised in the suburbs, and I spent time in the city. But as far as their city life living, they were babies. So they didn't get to experience the shit that I experienced growing up in the city in Chicago. Like, I sheltered them from that, and that was a good thing. So now that she's back out here with her dad and she's dealing with these kids, they're different. They're more mean. They're more critical. They're more just observant of things, and they're assholes. Literally, they are assholes, because that's just Chicago for you. A majority of the people there are assholes. So it's now getting her to understand, like, you know, people are going to talk, but 9 times out of 10, the ones that are talking the loudest are the ones who are suffering the worst at home. They don't get attention. They're probably looking for something that they're not getting at home, and it's spilling over into school. So yeah, they have no choice but to come to school, and they got to talk about the next person. My baby's like, they keep talking about my teeth. Now, y'all see me. As a kid, when I lost these 2 front teeth, baby, when they grew back, I looked like a baby bunny, okay, with the 2 big ass front teeth. And unfortunately, I cursed my daughter with those same 2 big ass front teeth. So the thing about it is, she's never complained about these teeth until today. And she's just like, these kids keep talking about me. And I'm just like, well, tell their ass that they got some chiclet ass teeth. I don't fucking know. Get the roast in these damn kids, because what is it that you want me to do? Like, one, I'm not going to allow you to get in your feelings about some teeth. You can't change your teeth. We're not shaving them down. We're not doing none of that. There's nothing you can do about your teeth. That is something that's gonna be with you the rest of your life. And if we're really being honest, you still have growing to do. So you haven't even, your face hasn't filled out to fit your mouth completely. You just made 12. You still got some time, ma'am. So it's just like getting kids to understand that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, is very hard, because to them it's just like, well, they keep saying it, and she's hurting my feelings, and he's saying it, and it's just so many of them. And I really want to tell her, fuck all them kids, okay? And I honestly keep telling her that, because my thing is, who's supporting your lifestyle? I'm big to ask that question to anybody when they come and they feel like they have to be a people pleaser. Who's supporting your lifestyle? What is somebody doing for you that makes you feel like their opinion or whatever they're saying, whether it be fact or a lie, why does it affect you to the point that you're discombobulated, or you're letting things mess with your mental? What are these people doing for you? Because growing up, my godmama used to tell me, if you ain't feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Let's be honest. I can't afford to, because you're not paying my bills. So therefore, if you're not paying my bills, you're not putting shoes on my feet, you're not putting clothes on my back, you're not putting food on my table. If you're not feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, baby, I could care less about your opinion of me. You want an opinion? Pay for it. My hand is always out. I turn down no free money. Now, that's you paying me to state your opinion. You're not paying me to take it and keep that shit. Because I'm going to toss that bitch right out the window if it don't apply. Let it fly. I'm real big on that. But trying to get these kids to understand life, and trying to give them the shortcuts to the things that I did not have growing up, Jesus Christ, they're driving me even more bonkers. Okay, it's not even just life right now that's taking me, it's also the kids, because y'all on my mental, because y'all not getting it, and I need y'all to get it, because the quicker we get it, the quicker we can move on. And being a parent is helping me understand that repetition is friends. They're friends. Repetition is my best friend, because I have to repeat myself over and over and over and over and over and over the fuck again, every day, all day, no matter what. because my sons just act like they didn't hear me when I said it 37 times before, not to climb up my fucking walls like they're Spider-Man, not to jump off our fucking patio, although we're on the first floor, not to climb up the fucking patio so that they can climb over into. Yes. Yes. I have become very, very fucking repetitive in life thanks to having children. And as annoying as the fuck it is, and as much as that alone weighs on my mental, it is also clarity for life. Because if I am not repetitive, if I don't continue to show them and continue to guide them and lead them in the direction that they're going to go down, that they need to go down, they will go down whatever fucking direction is presented in front of them, versus knowing what it is they should be doing when that time comes where they get to make that choice. And that's what we as parents have to understand. That is our job once we become parents. You are a guider. You were put here to guide the children that God blessed you with, that he gave you with. If you don't want that job, send them back. I am pro-choice, okay? But don't bring kids into this world and mentally you can't stabilize yourself. Therefore, you can't guide them to where they're supposed to be. Because it's going to make you spiral, which will eventually leave more children out here that are unloved, unnurtured, uncared for, uneducated with life skills, let alone school skills. Because honestly, if people haven't realized yet, life skills affect school skills. If these kids aren't getting love and care and nurturing at home, they are going to school raising hell. They're not at school learning. They're not at school paying attention to somebody else's mother teaching them. Their own parents couldn't do it or chose not to. So why would they? They're here because they're forced to be there. Like, seriously. And when it's that much of a problem as teachers and, student body within a school, like, I feel like that's when teachers and principals and counselors should come together and notice that these kids may be suffering from something much more deeper. Instead, everybody wants to wear this, oh, that's not my job. What the fuck did you get into education for? Education isn't just teaching something and sending them on their way. No, you literally become an extended guide for these kids that have been placed in your care. And that's at any level of education. Like, we should be loving on these kids, regardless of how much of assholes they are. Let's realize that they are not getting, they're not being exposed. And mentally, if you're not being exposed to something, how do you even know it exists? You don't. You don't. That's just like my youngest daughter's father. The man did not know chicken Alfredo existed until I cooked it. At 18, 19, when we started dating, the man did not know anything about chicken Alfredo because his mother had never cooked it. The man ain't stopped eating Alfredo since I introduced him to it, okay? It's a staple in his home now. I guarantee you. He would eat chicken Alfredo every week. But the thing about that is, if you're not exposed to something, how are you going to be aware that it exists? That it's capable of being done? That other people have done it? You can't even acknowledge the fact that it's something. Literally. I have a friend that I'm really, really close with. And he's gone through some things in his childhood. So have I. But our connection is communication. It's a lot of understanding one another and kind of helping each other through. Whereas I'm very knowledgeable about things that have gone on in my life. and I'm self-taught on a lot of stuff when it comes to taking myself out of trauma. So, and thank God, I guess that was the whole reason of me falling in love with psychology. Because school really helped me learn a lot about myself while I was going for my psychology degree. So, with me having the knowledge that I have and the experience in life that I have, I've always kind of been the bridge between men and their emotions. Even men that I've dated, I've always kind of been the bridge between that and my biggest thing with men is don't come to me and ask me for advice if you're not going to take it. Even if, like, you don't even have to take everything that I'm saying and apply it, but if you're not going to take what you feel is important to you and apply it, you're just going to take my knowledge and store it and not do anything with it and then come back to me later with the same problem. Don't do that. Don't do that, because I won't acknowledge it, because you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting my knowledge that I could be giving to somebody else. You're wasting my emotional capacity that I could be giving to somebody else. Because like I say, I don't cry like I used to, and I'm getting to a point now where I have to force myself, like literally once a week, I have to sit myself down and meditate and praise and worship and do all of that in order to release the emotions that I know I have built up that I'm tucking away. Because now I do it so subconsciously that my consciousness now is aware of what I've been doing subconsciously, and we're purposely trying to get out of that. So now I have to be intentional and I have to make moves that help me get to where it is that I want to be, because I refuse to give up. That's the one thing about this game. You can't, this game of life, you can't give up. You can't give up. It's no reason to, because even when it seems like it's so horrible, I guarantee you, if you start talking to whatever spiritual being you praise, you'll get through it. I'm not big on, condemning people for not believing in Jesus Christ. I believe in God. He's my Lord and Savior. I am not Christian. I am very much spiritual because I don't like religion. But as far as who anybody else decides to pray to, it's not my business. Nor is it my place to judge you for choosing that, because I don't know why you choose that. And I would rather get to know you and get to understand the things that you've been through in life and, your process in order to get where you are right now, before I try to judge you and tell you that what you believe in and who you believe in is wrong. It's not my place. Because in all honesty, if God is the God of all gods, I don't see the problem. And I'm just being dead ass honest. I don't see the problem, because I feel like as long as you're connecting to a source and you are content and happy with where you are and who you praise, who am I to judge you? Who am I to tell you you're wrong? If that's what's been working for you, allow it to work. So, I mean, I don't even know how we got on religion, but I'm not religious. I don't care for religion. I care more for spirituality and having a connection with a higher power, a source that flows through you naturally. Nothing that you feel like you have to force, nothing that you feel like, you've attached to because of others around you. No. If it feels natural for you, if that's where you're comfortable, be there. Exist there. Grow from there. Because that's the thing. You can learn from others around you and possibly eventually change your mind. But that's not my mission to make you change your mind. I just want to make sure anybody that I'm in contact with has that relationship, that they know that if you ain't got nobody on this earth, God got you. Source has you. Almighty being, powerful one, yes, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him, Jehovah Jireh, anything, he got you. But it's up to you to intentionally build that relationship, because he's always there. He always exists. He's never leaving your side. It's just up to you to mentally stick to wanting to have that connection and actually looking for it and going after it so that you have that and that you understand that having someone to talk to that you know is never going to tell your secrets because he knows them already. Let's start there. Let's start at the fact that he already wrote the story. Okay, so he knows what you're going to do before you do it. Secondly, he watched you do it. And that just sounds so disgusting when you think about the things that you do behind closed doors. But he's watched you do it. Okay. And so coming to him after to repent, to ask for forgiveness for anything, even just to tell him that you feel like shit for doing whatever you did, committing murder, if going to him and repenting for that, I promise you, it'll make you feel so much lighter. But it's the intent of having that relationship. That intent of having that relationship brings everything back down to a level playing field. The good is still great. The bad don't seem that horrible. And having that balance, you understand that that's just a part of life. That's what's needed in order for everything to continue. I think we talked about this last week. Everything's connected. Literally, everything is connected. So to be one with yourself and to understand God's role and your role, you'll understand the connection there and how what he brings to the table and what you bring to the table and what you guys work together on is amazing. It shocking as shit. Okay, I'll tell you that first and foremost, because when you start including God in things that you didn't even think that he would want to be included in, crazy thing is he wants to be included in everything. The stuff we want to keep him from, the stuff we want to not show him, really understand that he's been watching the entire time. So he already knows. He's already aware. He was aware when the thought crossed your mind. He was aware before the thought crossed your mind. Okay. I knew you in your mother's womb before you even existed there. So, like, really understand how deep this goes. Someone just willing to take on every problem you have, all you have to do is speak it. And for your mental health, write it down. Get a journal. But don't keep those feelings and those emotions and those moments locked in, because locking them away does nothing but creates tension. It creates a push. You ever seen those movies where people clean up in a rush and they throw everything in a closet and then somebody goes to hang their coat in the closet and they open the door and everything just comes falling out on them? That's how life is when you ignore things and push them to the side, and then you try to build relationships with people, friendships, partnerships, lover relationships, like that's what it is. You hiding all your baggage and all your trauma and everything, never facing any of it on your own. You have to journal 2-3 times a day, Amanda. It's literally the thing to do. But never really handling those things on your own. You have to get rid of them. Not even get rid of them. You have to acknowledge it, because life is not going to stop. And if you acknowledge it and move past it, when the next person comes in your life, you won't dump everything on them and possibly ruin the relationship, regardless of the status of it, whether it's just friendship or what. You won't ruin it. And that's the biggest thing, is not ruining it. So my biggest thing is now intentionality. Do you think it's fair for women to date when they know they are mentally unavailable, but that man doesn't? I would say yes. It is very unfair. I'm sorry, because you asked if it's fair. I believe it's unfair for women or men to date when they're unavailable mentally. Because if you aren't available mentally, what are you really bringing to the table? You don't have anything to bring to the table. And with that, it's like, why are we even doing this? And you know what's crazy? I've been dating and I've been mentally unavailable this entire time. I can't even say I've been mentally unavailable. I've been emotionally unavailable. Um, I mean, but why not? Why not meet somebody and tell them? Brian said, I mean, it's not like you're gonna walk up and say, "Hey, I'm mentally unstable, but I'm working on it. Want to hang?" Why not? Because I feel like if you come into it and you're letting a person know what they're getting themselves into, I gave you a choice from day one. I didn't surprise you. It didn't pop out from back there behind the curtain, while we were getting good and hanging out and really enjoying each other. This wasn't a surprise. So why not? That I just told a friend of mine earlier. Vulnerability and transparency are my top two things when it comes to dating right now. Because one, if I can be vulnerable enough to be transparent and tell you my wrongs and my everything, what's going on? I would cook Brian supper just for being honest and get ready for a great night of venting together. Literally, Amanda, like, if people understood that life could be so much better if we sat down and discussed our traumas together and not use them as weapons against each other, like, we would be fine. Because the thing about it is, you might have experienced something that I've experienced, but you don't see it the same way that I see it. So if we discuss it, why not? Like, why not get that out there and help each other? The thing about it is, when it comes to dating, everybody's looking to just jump and have sex. We definitely touched on this last week. Sex is not the most important factor. When you're looking to date people, you should be looking to see where you can come into this person's life and help them elevate. It shouldn't even be about you, because in your mind, you should feel like you have it all together right now. So you should be approaching anybody that you're trying to date to see where you can elevate them. And as the person that they should be trying to elevate you. So that way you both are helping each other move up. So it's never feeling like somebody's draining the other. Yeah, but those mentally unstable women have the craziest goodies. You know what, Brian? The mentally stable ones do too. I promise. There's some out there, okay? The mentally unstable one is just like it a little crazier. That's all. They just like to get a little wilder, okay? Because, hey, who doesn't like a freaky girl? But still in all, it's more than just sex. Like, I feel like toxic people have great sex because of the toxicity. Everything that's bad for us is always good. It tastes good, it feels good, it does amazing things for us in the moment, but it's not good for the lasting effect of it all. Because we can have sex, great sex, every day for the next 10 years. And then one day I could just wake up and the sex doesn't do it anymore. 10 years of great toxic sex. But in those 10 years, I've been elevating. In those 10 years, I've been doing the work on myself mentally. In those 10 years, I've been growing and my partner has not. So year 11, day one, I could wake up and be like, all right, the sex didn't do it for me last night. So because the sex wasn't good, I know that this is officially over. Because a lot of times sex is the only thing holding two people together. I guarantee you. I can ask a lot of people right now their longest relationship and why they stayed together. And a lot of people would tell me the sex was good. Because, and I've been there. From experience, I know. I've been there. I've stayed in a relationship because the sex was good. And it wasn't even necessarily, that wasn't the main reason, but that was one of the biggest reasons that I stayed. The sex was good. We had kids together, and we didn't have a broken home. Not to say the home was perfect, because it was not. It was domestic violence going. It was a lot of bullshit going. It was a lot of fucking toxicity, literally. But we stayed, and we made it work for damn near 8 years. But around year 5, 6, the sex wasn't cutting it no more. So I literally stopped having sex with this man, and we still stayed together 2 years after that. And I was having sex with this man maybe once every 3 months, just to scratch the itch. But I knew I was unhappy, so I knew that I needed to leave. But the thing was, the history and everything that we had built, I was holding on to because I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to take our kids from everything that they knew. And I didn't want to let it go, because that was my comfort zone. That was my stability for a long time. That was what I had. That was mine. That was what I created. This was my family. And to allow my family to fail and to end in divorce was mad wild to me. Like, never did I think I was going to be a baby mama of 5 kids, okay? So, if I didn't think that far, you know damn well I didn't think that my first marriage was ever going to end in us separating. No, that was not how it's supposed to go. So I held on for a very, very long time when I should have let go, because the relationship was no longer serving its purpose for me. For me. I don't know what it was doing for him. Let him tell it was the best thing he ever had, and he didn't want to let it go. But when you're not doing the work and you're not growing within yourself, and I see that I'm on a mission to better myself, because not only am I raising my kids and the kids we have together, but you have other children that are coming around, and they're being tossed in the midst of our shit, the arguing, the nitpicking, the nagging, the fighting. I didn't want my own kids to experience that, let alone have somebody else's kids experience that. Wasn't a part of my game plan. So realizing that in order to save face for me and all these kids, that I really had to let this relationship go, and I had to mentally move on, was hard. It was very, very hard, because that was never a part of the plan for me. So now the intent that I put into making this work, I now had to flip the script mentally and put the intent into rebuilding me and understanding me and understanding what I needed and what I wanted and how I had to move forward in order to get there. So it's just like now living this life, and I'm 2 years free of this relationship, and it's crazy today. I never really noticed what the fuck is going on until I get on here and I get to talking to y'all. Today, I officially started back therapy, okay? It's been a long, long, long time coming. I have not attended therapy since I was like 13, maybe 13, 14. I've had the boys in therapy and my youngest daughter since the beginning, middle of the year. My oldest daughter has been doing therapy for a while too. But my biggest thing was getting the kids situated and making sure that they were okay mentally before I really took the time for myself. And like I say, over these last couple of weeks, I really just been kind of in a mode, and I'm trying to figure it out, trying to go through everything and, you know, pick out the pieces and put names and titles and actions to things, because if I don't acknowledge what it is, then it's just another problem sitting there and I'm being overwhelmed. So I really have to go through and sit with myself and acknowledge what I'm feeling and acknowledge why I'm feeling that way. And I encourage everybody to do that at least once a week. Like, make that a weekly ritual that you're sitting with yourself for at least 10 to 15 minutes of just peace and quiet. If you got to, or if you want to, throw on some music, something that'll help you relax, or something that'll just bring you to a point where you can release everything that you've been subconsciously storing. Because when it really gets down to the bottom of it all, your mental is your way out. Y'all done seen The Matrix. That shit is real. Your brain is your way out of everything. And you have the choice to reprogram it. We've all grown up knowing something. And I guarantee you, 50% of the shit we grew up knowing, we can discard now. Because it either no longer applies to this day and age, or it was never real information in the first place that we needed. So as adults, this game of reprogramming right now, y'all better get y'all coding motherfucking coats on, baby. Get to it. These kids got Minecraft. You better go learn how to fucking play, because you need to learn how to code your own brain, how to recalibrate. It is very crucial to the adult society right now, recalibrating. Understanding what it is you need to get rid of, the lies that we grew up on, the just things that were embedded in us. Like, for me, I don't whoop my kids. I might rough them up here and there, but I hate giving whoopings. If I have to give them a whooping, I tell them all the time, and they know. This fucks with me, and I don't like doing it, but you've been on my fucking nerves all day, and I've been talking to you all day, so therefore, this is what the end result is. Because we've been at this all day. And like I say, repeating myself I've become accustomed to it. But at the same time, certain shit I'm not going to continue to repeat myself on. Especially when it comes to your safety. So that's everybody's homework this week. Start checking in with self. And I want y'all to hit me up and let me know how y'all feeling when y'all do this. Okay? Like, literally go to my YouTube channel, Simply Complicated Chats, like, subscribe, drop me some comments. Let me know. If you can find my Facebook page, Tanisha Marie, hit me up on Facebook. Send me a message. Send me a friend request. I would love to chat with you guys. Like, come on. Really, start being my friend, please. I love communicating with people. I love listening to people. And me learning from you guys is going to help me better give off information to help others learn from us. Because this is a community. Thank you, Amanda. Literally, I'm building this to become a community where we can all come together and help each other. However it seems fit for us. However you can extend the hand, I want everybody to be a part of it. So make sure you guys are tuning back in on Tuesdays. We will be right back here next Tuesday, 11 p.m. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Again, like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, Simply Complicated Chats. And catch me on Facebook at Tanisha Marie. And Instagram at Black the Beauty Queen. Okay? I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.